Alrighty everybody, welcome back to another amazing and simple video. As you can tell, I'm back in my back filming, just in a standard video, just talking straight to you guys, not outside or anything. I probably should do that soon. But today's video, before I get started off with anything, this video is going to be targeted for mums and dads that are looking into getting their children into fishing. Or maybe you're a young fisherman, or maybe fisherwoman that doesn't know a whole lot about fishing and really wants to learn more about it. I'm going to be running you through multiple different tips and multiple different, maybe a couple of different gear products that can get you started off really well, and maybe even a couple simple rigs too. Now, let's get into it. So when you're starting off fishing, you don't want anything too expensive to start off with. You don't want one of those really expensive $300 Shimano ones with like the $500 reels or something like that. I don't even know how much they really are, but you don't want that expensive of stuff. So there's two rods that I've actually had in the past. One of them I still have. There's a children's one, which is this is just, honestly, if you live in Australia, you can just go buy this from Kmart. It's a Jarvis Walker Junior Sidekick Ultimate Combo. So it comes with the reel, it comes with 6-pound line, which honestly, which I usually do is I take the line off and buy separate 8-pound monofilament, which is great for starting off. And basically what you do is you tie a tight knot on the spool, and then you put it like under the bail arm, and then you hold the line of like thing full of line, and you start reeling a bunch, and then basically what you get is just much stronger line. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, I posted a video not too long ago about how to fix it, but that's only if it's broken. But I'll hopefully be uploading another video soon about that, just to help you guys out. But yeah, I have one that's going to come up on the screen right now. That's a Junior Sidekick Ultimate by Jarvis Walker. And then there's another one, which is the Jarvis Walker Ultimate Boat Combo. So a bit heavier, but this time this rod's a bit more expensive. This one's $50. So, or what you could even do is you just could get two of those little rods, which, if I didn't mention already, the smaller one, which I was just explaining that you need to redo the line on. Well, you don't have to. It's just, you're going to break your line a lot easier with 6-pound monofilament, because, my gosh. Also, be careful on snags, because I tried getting a snag out once and it broke. But they're only $12, the little ones, but the bigger ones are $50. So if you're not too keen on spending too much money, the $12 one would probably be a bit better. But if you're a little bit more keen into it and you want something a bit stronger, so you can go out maybe catch something like a huge flathead or maybe even a jewfish, the Jarvis Walker Ultimate Boat Combo is probably going to be your best bet. But I'll put a photo of that on the screen too, just so then you know what it looks like. But me personally, I have the $12 one, but I also have a $69 one, which is an overhead boat fishing combo, which this one doesn't come with a line, but I put a 100-pound line on it once, and well, it didn't cast. But now let's head on to the next point. So when you start fishing, usually the first thing that will come to mind is, what do I need? Like, what kind of stuff do I need? What line and that? Or like, what gear? Like maybe what trace, or what hooks do I use, or what bait, or what lures? There's a lot of questions when you're starting fishing. If in the previous point I talked about the lines and the rods, so that's all ready. Well, you've already learned all that. But this segment, it's going to be setups / rigs and lures, and also baits too. So I'm just going to give you a standard rig, just so for when you're starting to fish. So the first and easiest rig that I ever learned was just a simple sinker, a small swivel, and about 40 to 50 centimeters worth of trace. It'll keep your sinker away from your hook so that it won't spook the fish as much. And then, depending on the fish you're going for, me personally, I like to use a size 12 hook. I know that's tiny, but it means I can catch literally anything. I can catch, like in fresh water, I can catch carp. In salt water, I can catch brim. I can catch mullet. I can catch herring. I can catch pretty much anything when you have a very small size 12 hook. I think mine's from Mustad. I use size 12 Mustad hooks. I mentioned that in my fishing video with Noah. I'll try and put a link in the description, or maybe I'll probably put a card up the top there. So go have a look up there. I'll put a photo. Okay, so these size 12 Mustad hooks, I'll actually put a photo on the screen, just so you can get a good look at them and understand how big they are. Well, just what they look like, just in case you want to go to your local BCF or something, or depending on where you live, in Australia, you could go to an Anaconda, BCF. Pretty much all tackle shops have them, but these hooks are the best. But if you're going for something maybe brim or whiting, maybe even flathead, you might want to use a long shank hook with a white bead on the end, because I like to use prawns for them. And basically the easiest way to put the prawn on the hook is you rip the head off, or I sometimes keep the head on and put it through the back and then pull it through and then push it through again. Or what I sometimes do as well, head on, through the back, I pull it out and then put it in through the tail, and then usually that helps, because sometimes they just don't eat it correctly. Like, also sometimes using the head makes it look a bit more realistic. And also remember to also keep hook exposure too, because if your hook is buried in the bait, you're not going to catch anything. But if you're in fresh water and you want to catch really anything, one thing I would suggest is maybe bread. Depends. I've caught carp. The only thing I've ever really caught on bread is just carp and some freshwater mullet. I have horrible luck when it comes to... Shut up! Salt water for me is usually my best bet. Probably the biggest fish I've caught in salt water was probably about a flathead, about that big. I mentioned it in a story time. It was like a 53 and a half, I think. It was a couple of years ago when I was on a fishing charter. Actually, go check out my first story time video where I went through all my fishing charters and explained how they all went. But basically, the fishing can be easy if you learn it correctly. Me personally, it took quite a few years just to get it right. Well, just to do it correctly, because my dad, he didn't know heaps about fishing, so we went out with a friend and we were using too big of hooks. He recommended to really size down, because we were using but we were using huge circle hooks, about that tall and about that wide, to try and catch flathead and that, in a little bay. That's just weird. No. I don't know why. I mean, someone recommended those hooks to us, and they were, I think there might have been 8-aught circle hooks. I actually don't know my circle hooks very well. Actually, oh, whoa, no, that is way too big. But, I think that's the one. Oh, yeah, that's it. I'll put a picture on the screen. I know. If any veteran fishermen that are watching this out there and know how big that is, yeah, you'll probably be pretty disappointed. But, yeah. My dad and I would always go out to these different spots. We even tried gang hooks at one point. I'll put another picture on the screen, because we were using gang hooks in a little thing of mangroves. I don't know, for meter long flathead. It was so strange. But we did good though. But if anyone's looking for maybe lures or soft plastics or hard bodies, my favorite soft plastics are the Z-Mans. I'll put a photo of. Just start putting images on the screen of the ones that I have, and I also love the Berkeley Gulps. There's just so good. Jig heads are just a hook with like a sinker attached to it. It looks like the head of the fish, or well, plastic. But basically, the kind of action, you need to let it sink, where you cast it, let it sink, and once your line goes slack, that's when it's hit the bottom. You go lift, and you let it sink again. Line goes slack, lift. Like, you just have to take your time with it, because otherwise, if it's not hitting the ground, you're probably not going to get anything. But me personally, sometimes I get a little bit impatient, and I just want to get maybe the flathead or the brim or something like that. I've caught flathead and brim on plastics, and they're so fun. But also, the good thing about lures and plastics is you're always moving. You don't ever get bored of it, because when you're sitting there with bait, you just bring a chair along, and you just kind of sit there, maybe bring a phone or a book, or I don't know, and you just kind of sit there not really doing anything. But when you have lures, you're constantly moving. It's just so much better than sitting there and doing nothing. Like, it's not ideal. Well, me personally, I only use bait when it's like early in the morning, maybe from about 8 to 9 at peak high tide, and everything is eating early, like it's even really early morning, like 6 o'clock and that. I've even caught leather jackets and that on plastics too. But if you're fishing in estuaries, beware of the toadfish. If you don't know what they are, here's an image. Literally my worst enemy ever. I have lost more than a dozen plastics literally by just toadfish, just complete schools of toads going absolute ham on my little plastic, especially the Berkeley Gulps. They're so that's the only downside to them. They get broken so easily because they're so soft that the toadfish just go to town on them. They'll just eat the plastic. Can we just get a moment of silence? Can we just get a moment of silence, please? Well, yeah. But it's awful, guys. But when also using plastics, another thing to be careful of is like fishing near oyster beds and that, because you snap your line so easily. I literally keep doing it. Also, careful when fishing near jetties too, because that's also how you lose plastics too. Honestly, it is just a little plastic that might be about 4 inches or so. You can just put, one thing I do recommend though is pulling it maybe in or through the weed, or maybe just over the top of it, which can really do you some work. But now let's head on to the very final segment of tips for beginner fishermen. So now to our last point. When fishing, you have to be careful, and you need to check your weather and like barometric pressure and stuff like that. Also, apologies for the background noise. There's just a movie and that playing in the background. But like for example, you always need to check your barometric pressure on your maybe your weather app or something, where what you can do is you can go onto your, like for example, I use Willy Weather. You go into your, like where you can see all the clouds and that, and then I think I forgot what it was called, but there's this specific button where it almost looks like it's thermal, where you click on that, and the higher it is, the more likely you're gonna get fish. And like, just you need to learn about all your different weather patterns around where your area is. But other than all of that, this video has been a bit interesting, and hopefully been helpful to maybe some mums and dads out there that are looking on taking their children out fishing, and or even if you're someone yourself looking on fishing. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.